how can we work on the soil, how can we work on the plant, how can we work around the ecosystem of the plant to have a better growth, to have sustainable growth. Younger and younger people are focusing a lot on this amazing gold mine that they have in their backyard in the form of horticulture.
Rather than, looking for jobs and rather than being a job seeker.
Absolutely. So they are becoming job givers rather than job seekers. And I'm very thankful to Greater Kashmir. They had carried a story. आपने एक story recently की जिसमें आपने mention किया कि मैंने 12 साल पहले actually ये predict किया हुआ था कि जैसे ही ये रेसिप्रोकल टैरिफ्स या प्रोटेक्शनिस्ट टैरिफ्स कोई भी कंट्री ये पॉलिसी लाती है तो ऑफ कोर्स हमारे पे काफ़ी असर पड़ेगा।
हेलो एंड वेलकम, यू वाचिंग GKTV और मैं हूं आपका होस्ट साकिब मलिक। अमूमन हम बात करते हैं सब्जेक्ट एक्सपर्ट से, जो हमारे पॉडकास्ट होते हैं, जो हमारे इंटरव्यूज़ होते हैं, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर्स से बात होती है, हमारी पुलिस ऑफिशियल्स से, डॉक्टर्स से। लेकिन आज हम आपके लिए कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग लेके आए हैं। Joining me on this show today is Khuram, जो कि CEO ओनर है Qul Fruits के। काफ़ी किसी इंट्रोडक्शन के मोहताज नहीं है। He has been in the limelight for last more than a decade and a half। 15 साल से अपनी छाप छोड़ी है खुरम साहब ने, जो हॉर्टिकल्चर सेक्टर है कश्मीर में उसको लेकर। आपको ये भी बता दूं कि खुद एक काफ़ी ब्राइट प्रोफेशनल है खुरम, और जिस तरह से उनका जो इंटरवेंशन हॉर्टिकल्चर में रहा है, जो कि बैकबोन है कश्मीर, वादी कश्मीर की, वो काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग है इनकी जर्नी। और इनकी कंपनी जो है कुल फ्रूट्स। तो खुरम, टू बिगिन विद, जब आपने शुरू किया आज से पहले ऑलमोस्ट 15 years बैक, तो विद व्हाट माइंडसेट आपने शुरू किया और क्या आपका व्हाट वाज द सॉर्ट ऑफ जो आपका आउटलुक था?
शुक्रिया इस मौके का। बेसिकली 15 years ago जो ये जर्नी स्टार्ट हुई है, ये उससे पहले काफ़ी पहले शुरू हुई है। मेरी एजुकेशन से, मेरे बैकग्राउंड से, जहाँ से मैं आया हूँ, मेरे वालिद साहब वो पिंजौरा के रहने वाले हैं, शोपियन डिस्ट्रिक्ट में। तो बागों के साथ तो पहले उस हिसाब से वाबस्तगी थी। तो लेकिन फिर उससे आगे फिर मेरी एजुकेशन अमेरिका में हुई, लेकिन टेक्नोलॉजी सेक्टर में। माय बैकग्राउंड इज़ इंजीनियरिंग एंड मैथमेटिक्स। तो लेकिन हर वक्त ये थोड़ा सा रहता था कि अगर मैं अमेरिका में काम कर रहा था, तो अगर मेरे किसी काम करने से कोई ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन आ सकती है। उस टाइम पे ये जहन में नहीं था कि मुझे कश्मीर में काम करना है या इंडिया में काम करना है। उस टाइम था कहीं पर भी कोई भी काम मैं करूं जिससे ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हो सके, तो वो मेरे को ज़्यादा सेटिस्फाइंग लग रहा था रादर देन जस्ट डूइंग अ जॉब। तो फिर उस टाइम मेरे जो कॉन्फिडेंस थे, मेरे जो उस वक्त टीचर्स थे, मेरे जो उस वेल विशर्स थे, उन्हें कहा अगर कोई ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन तुम ग्राउंड अप करना चाहते हो तो ये उस जगह पे करो कि जिसके साथ तुम फेमिलियर हो, जिसके कल्चर के साथ तुम फेमिलियर हो, क्योंकि ग्रास रूट ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन के लिए वो पल्स होना बहुत ज़रूरी है। तो दैट्स वाई कश्मीर बिकेम अ नेचुरल चॉइस फॉर मी। एंड वाई हॉर्टिकल्चर? बिकॉज ऑफ सो मेनी पीपल directly and indirectly involved with this sector. So I thought even a minutest change that we can bring can cover a lot of people in terms of that change. So that's why I came back and started this journey.
तो ये तो रही आपकी शुरुआत
जी।
आज के दौर पे जब हम देखते हैं कि हॉर्टिकल्चर इज़ बैडली हिट, जो टैरिफ्स हैं, जो इंपोर्ट ड्यूटीज़ घटाई जाती हैं इंपोर्टेड एप्पल पे, उससे काफ़ी फ़र्क पड़ता है। लेकिन मैं अपने देखने वालों को बता दूं कि जो आपका प्रोडक्ट है, जो कुल फ्रूट्स है, इसको कितना फ़र्क पड़ा है? हैव यू बीन एबल टू बीट द जो ब्लूज़ ऑफ जो इंपोर्ट ड्यूटीज़ पे अक्सर मतलब घटाई जाती हैं? How is your product able to withstand this?
So first of all, I'm very thankful to Greater Kashmir. They had carried a story. आपने एक story recently की जिसमें आपने mention किया कि मैंने 12 साल पहले actually ये predict किया हुआ था कि जैसे ही ये रेसिप्रोकल टैरिफ्स या प्रोटेक्शनिस्ट टैरिफ्स कोई भी कंट्री ये पॉलिसी लाती है तो ऑफ कोर्स हमारे पे काफ़ी असर पड़ेगा। ये 12 साल पहले फिर हार्वर्ड बिजनेस केस स्टडी में भी इस चीज़ का जिक्र हुआ था। तो उसकी वजह से उस वक्त भी हमारा यही गोल था। दिस इज़ 2011-12। उस वक्त हमने सिर्फ पोस्ट हार्वेस्ट में इंटरवेंशन किया था। फर्स्ट सीए स्टोर हमने साउथ कश्मीर में जो लगाया था 2000 मेट्रिक टन का। आज आप देखेंगे तो 250,000 मेट्रिक टन से ज़्यादा कोल्ड स्टोरेजेस बने हुए हैं। So you have a more than 150 times actually increase, almost 300,000 metric ton बना हुआ है. तो जब हमने पहला हाई डेंसिटी ऑर्चर्ड बनाया, द ओनली रीज़न वी डिड दिस इज़ कि हम अपने जो ट्रेडिशनल ऑर्चर्ड्स थे, जो उसमें क्वालिटी या प्रोडक्टिविटी जो हमारी थी, वो कंपीट दुनिया के साथ नहीं कर पाती. तो इसीलिए उस वक्त डोर टू डोर, स्ट्रीट टू स्ट्रीट, विलेज टू विलेज, टाउन टू टाउन, मैं जा रहा था सिर्फ ये कहने के लिए अपने फार्मर्स से कि हमें जो ये टेक्नोलॉजी जो हमारे पास है वो चीज़ हमें आगे नहीं चलाएगी. हमको चेंज करनी है टेक्नोलॉजी, बायोटेक्नोलॉजी, डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी, प्रोसेस टेक्नोलॉजी, प्रोडक्ट टेक्नोलॉजी, टू गेट टू अ पॉइंट जहाँ पर हम दुनिया के साथ compete करें रिगार्डलेस ऑफ के टैरिफ्स का क्या स्ट्रक्चर रहेगा. अगर आप लॉ ऑफ कंपैरेटिव एडवांटेजेस ही देखें, बेसिक इकोनॉमिक्स लॉ है, तो हम उसको देख के हमारे लिए फ्रूट इंडस्ट्री इज़ वन ऑफ द इंडस्ट्रीज़ जहाँ पे हमें फोकस करना चाहिए विथ हाई क्वालिटी प्रोड्यूस. तो जब पहला हाई डेंसिटी ऑर्चर्ड बना और बाकी लोगों ने भी देखा, सो टुडे यू सी 40-50,000 canals of high density orchards that have been built. This is a huge transformation. और अगर ये वाला एप्पल बाहर से अमेरिकन एप्पल, यूरोपियन एप्पल विथ प्रोटेक्शनिस्ट टैरिफ्स को हम मान के भी चले या रेसिप्रोकल टैरिफ्स को मान के भी चले, तब भी यहाँ का ग्रोवर जो है वो इसको सस्टेन कर पाएगा. मेकिंग श्योर कि हमारा राइट फ्रॉम नर्सरीज टू ऑर्चर्ड डेवलपमेंट टू ऑर्चर्ड मैनेजमेंट टू एग्री इनपुट्स टू वेयर हाउसिंग एंड प्राइमरी प्रोसेसिंग टू मार्केटिंग एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, हमें हर किसी वैल्यू नोड पे काम करके वी विल बी वेरी कंपेटिटिव अगेंस्ट एनी एप्पल, एनी फ्रूट जो हम यहाँ पे पैदा कर रहे हैं. अगर इस टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ ट्रेडिशनल टेक्नोलॉजी, इट विल बी वेरी हार्ड टू कम्पीट विद देम.
लेकिन जो आपके आइडियाज़ हैं वो एक तरह से रेडिकल आइडियाज़ हैं, आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स आइडियाज़ हैं. कितना मुश्किल होता है उन आइडियाज़ को कश्मीर जैसी जगह में इम्प्लीमेंट करना, एग्जीक्यूट करना?
It is of course very hard, but for me less hard, again as I said right in the beginning, कि I understand this culture a little bit, my language, my people, I come from a village, so जो इसको relate करना लोगों के साथ, and I think farmers are very smart, very intelligent, because they understand. जब आप remuneratively देखें, पहले आप कनाल का 20,000, 25,000 कमा रहे थे, आज आप 1.5 लाख, 2 लाख, 2.5 लाख उसी कनाल का कमा रहे हो. तो फिर ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन लाना इजी है जब हर कोई रिम्यूनरेटिवली इसमें बेनिफिट देखता है. तो मुझे लगता है कि वो पहला जो पार्ट था, फर्स्ट 6-7 years वर एक्सट्रीमली डिफिकल्ट फॉर मी एज एन एंटरप्रेन्योर, बट आई ऑल्सो फील आई हैव बीन वेरी ब्लेस्ड विद द राइट काइंड ऑफ टीम, राइट काइंड ऑफ mentors in my life, and of course I have been very blessed by the divine to push this thing through, and today we see some significant results in the horticulture sector.
तो आगे आने वाले वक्त में प्री और पोस्ट हाउस में और क्या टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं जो इंक्लूड की जा सकती हैं और कैसे वे फॉरवर्ड क्या है इसका?
देखिए, I'll give you a very simple example. Today अगर कोई कोर सब्जेक्ट होता है किसी चीज़ का, that by itself is not enough. Many different core competencies have to come together to bring a big change. As an example, if you look this year past, मेरे ख्याल से कुछ महीने पहले chemistry Nobel Prize आप देखेंगे. Who got the chemistry Nobel Prize? One of the guys who got is Dr. Hassabis, and the reason he got that Nobel Prize, he comes from a totally different background. He comes from an AI background. But why did he get it? Because AI and chemists or people who are who are working on protein structure, they came together, used AI technology to predict the protein structure. So different technologies came together to give us certain results, which will help us with drug discovery, with cancer quite a bit. It's a huge transformation that has taken place in that sector. But it could not be just chemistry as a core competency or a core subject that could have given us that kind of result. Similarly, moving forward, in horticulture, it cannot be just horticulture, biotechnology that will give us great results. Other technologies have to come together to give us that results. For example, We're talking about blockchain. We're talking about artificial intelligence. So for example, blockchain you can use in figuring out the entire traceability of the produce right from the farmer to the end consumer. You can use AI technology in disease detection, in figuring out what kind of diagnostics.
Grading of,
and then also if you look at the grading and sorting, you can use some AI there as well. So many other technologies have to come together to do this. So for example, we have been working on figuring out what can we use in terms of local microbes, in terms of local soil agents that we can have to make our soil further fertile. Right? So how can we work on the soil? How can we work on the plant? How can we work around the ecosystem of the plant to have a better growth, to have sustainable growth? So, and based on that, hopefully we can produce the kind of fruit that end consumer cherishes. So if you have an end consumer who loves the experience of eating fruit, I'm sure he will give us the premium to have that experience, and that premium comes down this entire value chain, and eventually farmer gets the benefit. So all the people, right from the farmer to the end consumer, we have to ensure that everybody gets the benefit out of this intervention.
What will be your message to youngsters जो अभी मतलब कोल्ड स्टोरेज में बहुत सारे हमारे देखने वाले भी उसमें इन्वॉल्व होंगे, उनको वो किस तरह से डाइवर्सिफाई कर सकते हैं?
Of course, there are a lot of ways you can diversify. We have only touched the surface, right? So we are only even in primary processing. We haven't even looked at secondary and tertiary processing and figuring out how we can harness the power of fruits. You see, fruits today, from my perspective, if we do this right in the Himalayan region, we can become the fruit bowl of South Asia. And when you look at South Asia, you're talking about more than 2 billion people. It's not only India, we have Bangladesh, we have Sri Lanka, we have other people around India. So we have got 3 most important ingredients that require us to become the this fruit bowl of South Asia. One is soil. Right. Second is the climate, right? That we have, and climate. When I say climate, I say microclimate, macroclimate, water, and then people that we need. We have all 3 ingredients, and literally first 2 ingredients that we need, they come for free. That has been bestowed to us by nature for free. That kind of freebie, nobody in the world has of that quality that we have. So what youngsters, and to talk about the youngsters, I was just talking with somebody earlier, that farmer who used to walk into our facility, any facility, 12 years ago, to get any service from us, the average age was 52 years. Today, the average age of a farmer who works with us, on any kind of service, it has dropped down to 32 years. So in just 12 years of time, we have reduced the average age of a farmer by 2 generations, if you look at it, so almost 20 years. So that tells me that younger and younger people are focusing a lot on this amazing gold mine that they have in their backyard in the form of horticulture.
Rather than, looking for jobs, and rather than being a job seeker.
Absolutely. So they are becoming job givers rather than job seekers. And I was just in the field this morning, and I was visiting one of the orchardists, and we have been working with that orchardist for a while. And I saw a couple of people who were helping with just the management of the orchard. So I saw those guys, they came up to me, they said hello, and they were very thankful to me. I didn't know them. But I said, why are you showing that kind of, what did I do for you? He said, well, they come from the small village called Akhal, and they said that they have about 70 to 80 people, youngsters, who have been working in the orchard management of high density, because my first orchard was in Akhal region. So they understood since 2016, they have been learning the art of orchard management, and now they have honed this skill set, and they are taking that service across Kashmir. So then I asked them, I said, how much do you make a day? They said about 1,000 rupees. I said, are you doing this every single day? They said, we are pretty much blocked for the entire year. So when I ran the calculations, in that little village, per day, the income that village has for these youngsters is about 8 lakh rupees a day. So that to me is how we have built the capacities and how we have, or it has happened organically. So that I feel very humbled to have had the opportunity to pioneer this in one way or the other.
तो आने वाले वक्त में जो एप्पल इकोनॉमी है और इन्वॉल्वमेंट ऑफ यूथ है ये कैसे बढ़ेगी, मतलब हाउ विल इट grow?
So first of all, we cannot just focus on apples, right? So apples, we cannot have monoculture. To have a sustainable growth, we absolutely need to diversify, not only in terms of crop, but also geographies. So we have to look at apple, cherries, pears, kiwis. There are many, many other fruits, and each one of them is a multi-billion-dollar industry. If you look at it, for instance, cherries. You look, Chile, for example, is a country that, most of the economy from the agriculture perspective is dependent on cherries. So we can do, and cherries, which are coming from Turkey or other places into our country, are sold for 1,500, 1,600 rupees a kg. Why can we not produce cherries of that standard or even better, because we have got the climate? So what we have to do is we have to work on different crops, different geographies across Kashmir, J&K and Himalayas. And then on top of that, we can absolutely work on the primary, secondary and tertiary processing. And of course, other technologies that I mentioned like blockchain, AI and others.
खुरम साहब, अभी जो एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज हमारे सामने वो वेदर है, चेंजिंग वेदर पैटर्न्स, तो उसके बारे में क्या कहेंगे?
देखिए, we are again extremely lucky and extremely blessed that Divine has given us such amazing place to live. I'll give you a very simple example. If you look at Gala as a variety for apples, the number of chilling hours that it needs is about, let's say, 1,200. Even today, the chilling hours, even in low altitude or mid altitude areas that we have here, is about 2,300 hours. So we are quite far from the point where climate will have significant impact on us. Even though, let's say it does 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, what we have to do is we will go with crop diversification. Let's say we are talking about apricots. It needs different kind of a climate. It needs low altitude climate, it needs a little warmer weather. So as that happens, we will keep moving in different territories where we can have better production. However, most important is that whatever we are growing right now, it must be grown sustainably. We cannot use the pesticides the way we use them. We cannot use water the way we use them. We cannot use other resources. For instance, when I look at groundwater, for instance, how people are using it, or other kinds of energy sources. How can we switch to solar energy to harness that energy to pump our drip irrigation systems, right? So there are many things that we can do now because we are in the beginning of this entire revolution. We can figure out a framework within which we can operate sustainably.
जो आपका ये Qul Fruits है, create, care and share.
Yes.
What is this tagline all about?
So this tagline comes from basically Qul Fruits, why we are here. So Qul Fruits has been, it has gone through different versions in its name. Qul Fruitwall is the same as Qul Fruits, but we wanted to create an umbrella brand, umbrella company. That's where Qul Fruits comes from. But if you look at the goal, the objective of Qul Fruits, the tagline we have been using and we communicate to our own team is we want to create, we are in the business of creating value to transform lives sustainably. That's essentially our tagline. So creating value. So create is you create value, right? You create value, but you got to take care of the environment that you are basically creating this value in. The ecosystem is not only the environment, it's the ecosystem, it's the people, it's like my team, right? So it's everybody, right, taking care of them. But then once you have created this value, once you have created it while caring for it, you want to share it throughout the entire value chain, because anybody who is in this value chain, whether it's somebody who eats an apple or somebody who transports an apple in his refrigerator truck, we want to make sure that we are sharing, we are distributing this value across the entire value chain, because if one of the nodes is not going to work in this value chain, the entire chain will collapse. So it's very important that we work together to make it successful.
एक कोई end message would you like to sign off with something you would really want to convey?
It actually, you just mentioned that. Let's having the mentality of that we are here to add some value to whatever we do. But while you do that, make sure that you care for everybody around you and share the benefits across the platform, across the value chain. Once you do that, I think we will know what is right and what is wrong, and the path will show itself.
Thank you खुरम साहब for enlightening us. तो ये थे खुरम मीर जिन्होंने हमें एक काफ़ी in-depth analysis दी horticulture के बारे में, Apple industry के बारे में. We hope to speak to you sometime soon again.
Well,
thank you so much. देखते रहिए GKTV.